At that moment, a shadowy figure stepped out of the darkness. Miao Ren's song emerged and was astonished to see so many people, thinking to himself, wow, when did there get to be so many people? Surely they must be intimidated by my achievements, right? Ha ha. Miao Ren's song thought to himself and smiled smugly. He imagined a girl coming up to him and confessing, Miao, please go out with me. And he would happily reply, sure, why not? Everyone around him was clapping and cheering. What a beautiful scenario. In reality, Miao Ren's song was drooling and grinning widely, saying, let's go out together. The other girls, noticing his expression, frowned and said in horror, his smile is really creepy. That's right, he looks too scary. Meanwhile, Miao Ren's song was still basking in his self-satisfaction and laughing hee. At the same time, Lu Sheng had stepped out and politely said, excuse me, could you please move aside? Lu Sheng grabbed Miao Ren's song's arm and pushed him aside, inadvertently spinning him around in confusion. Miao Ren's song fell to the ground and Lu Sheng immediately said, sorry. Everyone outside was waving and cheering for Lu Sheng. As for Miao Ren's song, he glared angrily and shouted, you. Lu Sheng calmly replied, you were blocking my way. Lu Sheng ignored him and said, move aside, don't block the path. This only made Miao Ren's song angrier, grinding his teeth and hissing, aye. Then he jumped up, swinging his fist and shouting, I'll kill you, dog. Dan, do you know who you were talking to? Lu Sheng remained silent. A moment later, a loud explosion rang out, causing everyone to back away in avoidance. As the dust cleared, a pair of legs was seen suspended in midair. Lu Sheng gently grabbed Miao Ren's song by the neck and lifted him up, even though his body was much smaller than Miao Ren's song's. Lu Sheng coldly asked, are you still playing the thug while blocking my way? Miao Ren's song, with his neck being squeezed, was in pain and fear, sweating profusely, his eyes bulging, mouth frothing, unable to utter a word. Lu Sheng continued to question, and who are you? Then he coldly waved his hand, releasing a powerful force that sent Miao Ren's song flying, crashing face first into the ground. Miao Ren's song's subordinates were in a panic, shouting, leader, brother Miao, leader, what's wrong? They hurriedly ran over to check on their leader, who was face down on the road. Leader, please wake up. The others there looked at Lu Sheng with shock in their eyes, exclaiming, oh my god! They all shared the same thought as they watched Lu Sheng confidently stepping out. Are we witnessing a new legend being born here? As he strode out heroically, Lu Sheng was startled by Lin Ze's excitement. Ha ha ha, did you see that? This is the strength of Brother Sheng. Next, Marshal Saint No. 7 will welcome the era belonging to Lu Sheng. Ha ha ha. The female fans also cheered together. No doubt Lu Sheng is the strongest in history, just phenomenal. You are the savior of Marshal Saint No. 7. Everyone, inspired by this enthusiastic cheering, began to shout out their feelings. Unrivaled, what is Miao Ren's song from Board Marshal Saint? Not even close. Some even felt proud to have been hit by Lu Sheng and shouted, I've been hit by Lu Sheng too. I, like Miao Ren's song, have also been struck by him. Ha ha ha. Standing amidst the cheers of the crowd, Lu Sheng closed his eyes and contentedly thought, ha ha, being recognized by everyone must be one of the motivations for martial arts, right? Chen Yifswan had also lightened the burden in her heart and happily exhaled. Ha ha ha. What is this former student board and Board Marshal Saint? I'm afraid they can't contain a monster like Lu Sheng. Zhao Taiyan turned to look at the young people, excitedly rallying behind, and spoke with satisfaction. Ha ha ha. In elegant robes of youthful grace, standing by a noble steed, admiring the blossoms of Chang'an, let them enjoy this moment a little. Just return the result, no explanation needed. Outside, there was a boy in a blue shirt who was both observing the crowd and anxiously exclaiming, oh shit, I never expected that this trip would run into something so big. The record of Marshal St. Tower No. 7 was broken by a freshman. After that, he turned to Yang Yan and said, Sister Yang Yan, why don't we quickly go find your classmates, meet them, and then head back? The people here look like monsters that just drank blood. It's too dangerous to stay long. Suddenly, Yang Yan, with rosy cheeks and mesmerized eyes, replied as she looked ahead, no need, I've already found him. Her delicate eyebrows furrowed. She fell silent as if pondering something, then turned around and left. The blonde boy panicked and looked around, pointing and asking, you found him. Are you saying the person you're looking for is Lu Sheng? I didn't say that. I never expected you to have such a vanity side. Ha ha, he teased again. Yang Yan's expression darkened. Feeling insecure, she replied, you're not wrong. He really is too eye-catching. It's my overestimation of myself. At that moment, the blonde boy smirked wickedly, grabbing her hand again and saying, ha ha, don't be angry. Yang Yan, I didn't mean it that way. I believe isn't that enough. Yang Yan angrily pulled her hand away, shouting, "Let go! Senior student, I really appreciate you bringing me here to find someone, but please be mindful of your actions and words." The blonde still laughed mischievously and said, "Ha ha ha, why do you say that?" Suddenly, a terrifying face from behind him questioned, "Are you deaf? Did people tell you to let go what you didn't hear?" Lindsay was scaring someone. He grabbed the head of the blonde guy, causing him to scream, "Holy shit, what are you doing? It hurts, it hurts, it hurts." Lindsay maliciously laughed and said, "Hee hee hee, you dare to lay a hand on even Sheng's girl. What do you think I want to do?" After that, he started to beat the guy like a devil, making him scream for mercy. Spare me, I was wrong." A moment later, the blonde guy was beaten to the point of lying flat on the ground, with swollen bruises popping up everywhere. Lindsay looked at his own fist in confusion. "So strange, we're both hitting someone. Why am I not creating the same overwhelming effect as Sheng?" Then he turned to Yang Yan happily and said, "You're Yang Yan, right? Sheng asked me to come and tell you to wait a moment. We'll have lunch together later." Yang Yan asked back with some confusion, "Are you a friend of Lu Sheng?" Lindsay proudly replied, "Sheng is my leader. He just noticed you. Right now, ha ha ha, it's not easy to get away. Let me take you for a stroll around first." Yang Yan blushed and hurriedly explained, we are not that kind of relationship." Meanwhile, the blonde boy was still lying flat on the ground, worriedly thinking, "What, Lu? Lu Sheng is really Yang Yan's classmate. I'm done for." The scene shifts to the next day, where Lu Sheng is sitting in the vice principal's office talking to Zhao Taiyan. Zhao Taiyan cheerfully said, "It's truly astonishing. Classmate Lu Sheng, on your first time entering the Marshall Saint Tower, you broke the historical record of the Marshall Saint Tower. You are indeed a promising youth. Ha ha ha. This situation is quite special. The specific reward will have to wait for the arrangement from the great Marshall Saint. Moreover, after you broke the record of the Marshall Saint Tower, your course reward will also be quickly issued." When Lu Sheng heard about the reward, he was astonished and asked, "Is there a course reward for breaking the tower?" Zhao Taiyan explained, "You didn't know? Regardless of which school's Marshall Saint Tower it is, as long as someone sets a new record, they will receive a course reward from that school." At this point, Zhao Taiyan seemed to think of something and exclaimed in shock, "Wait, don't tell me you want to?" Lu Sheng calmly replied, if possible, I want to graduate as soon as possible." Zhao Taiyan excitedly jumped up, "This." Then he helplessly exhaled a long breath. "Ha, I understand now." He turned towards the window and waved his hand, saying, "You can head back first. I'll inform you if there's any news." Lu Sheng quickly stood up and replied, "Yes." At that moment, Lu Sheng stepped outside. Zhao Taiyan came closer to his desk, picked up the phone, and called someone, saying, "Hello, it's me." Zhao Taiyan hesitated a bit and told the person on the other end, "I think it would be better to wait a bit longer." There was a moment of silence on the other end before the person replied, "Why?" Zhao Taiyan turned to see the back of someone and explained, "I feel that Lu Sheng's performance." The footsteps of someone walked away powerfully. Zhao Taiyan continued, "It seems like it's just beginning. Wherever Lu Sheng goes, the strength radiates from there." At this time, on the trending bulletin of the Marshall St. 7 campus, a Dragon Nation Marshall St. University trending list was updating the situation minute by minute. The era of Lu Sheng has arrived. Prepare to feel the fear of being dominated by Lu Sheng. The powerful video clips of Lu Sheng are recent graduates suitable for working as martial arts trainers. Should one enlist in the military district by choosing the front line at the School of Milking Cats, and the short-haired white dog sister from the Southern Sports Department that has been spayed, stable in body and good in character, can be cuddled and petted. Looking for an odor online, arriving first. The strongest freshman in the history of Marshall St. No. 7. Glory belongs to Marshall St. No 7. Can Wenjing Swan, the top of the Marshall St. board, withstand Lu Sheng's one-handed strike? Let's analyze it together. All the images of Lu Sheng's moves, ultra-clear snapshots. What is mine, I will take. Ability has never been a privilege to act recklessly. Escaping is not my way of doing things. How far is Lu Sheng from the master? The first master in history was born in a school. Starting today, we, Marshall St. No. 7, can finally hold our heads high and no longer feel inferior to students from other schools. Lu Sheng is amazing, super surreal, truly incredible. I will never forget this day. Brothers, let's blow the horn of counterattack. Tomorrow we will go raid another tower. Does anyone have photos or videos of Lu Sheng taking down Miao Renxanon? Please, I want to print them out and stick them on the wall. Please tell him that all the senior girls want to possess him to create the highest potential genius. At this moment, Lu Sheng was wide-eyed in shock while reading those news updates. Then he raised his cup to drink and helplessly said, No wonder martial arts girls speak and act so boldly. Afterward, Lu Sheng looked up at Yang Yan and said, I didn't expect there to be so many people when you laughed at me at the scene today. Yan Yan blushed and waved her hands to deny. It's nothing. You are a busy person, and moreover, your current achievements are really brilliant. Then her gaze fell, and a bit hesitantly she asked, Can I still come to find you in the future? Lu Sheng asked back, a bit puzzled, What's wrong? Why wouldn't you? Then Lu Sheng said, That's just a small matter. Besides, a push with no resistance at all is really boring. While speaking, Lu Sheng looked out the window, and after a moment, he turned back with a smile and exclaimed, God, in the cafeteria of Marshal St. No. 4. Miao Ren-san was continuously pointing at dishes that left the chef in a panic. I want this. This one, and this one too. Moments later, he placed a huge tray of food on the table. Miao Ren-san sat down and focused on eating. A few students saw this and whispered to each other, That's Miao Ren-san. I heard he failed to conquer the Marshal St. Tower No. 7 and came back with a completely dark face. No way. He was defeated by a new student who just enrolled at Marshal St. and got flipped on his back like a chicken. Oh shit, is that true? Can a new student be that strong? Isn't Miao Ren-san supposed to be strong? A few more people gathered around to join in and criticize Miao Ren-san. Ha ha, who knows how strong he really is? He pretends to be impressive, but has no skill. The important thing is that he was defeated by a new student, completely losing the face of Marshal St. No. 4. And now, he has become a joke for others. Foolish. Miao Ren-san had heard those words. The chopsticks in his hand were broken into pieces. Miao Ren-san chewed his food while trembling with rage, but reminded himself to stay calm, to be calm, and not let the words of those dogs affect his mood while eating. The newcomer continued to bark, and also, I heard that Miao Ren-san was scared to death by that new student at the scene, and even peed his pants. Ha ha ha! Completely soaked his pants. Ha ha ha! Others laughed along with satisfaction. Then the food tray was flipped over. The neck of the young man who was mocking was grasped by a powerful hand. Miao Ren-san, furious, leaned closer to his face and roared, I didn't pee my pants. Not at all, I'll say it again. Miao Ren-san emphasized each word, making the young man so frightened that he wanted to cry, didn't pee my pants. The others who had just joined in began to sweat nervously at the sight. Suddenly, Miao Ren-san heard someone calling. In anger, Miao Ren-san shouted back, If you keep talking nonsense, you'll be the next one. The calling continued. Miao Ren-san couldn't take it anymore, turned around, and swung a punch. Damn it! Who is it? Then a fair hand was stretched out, gently blocking his attack. Miao Ren-san immediately broke into a cold sweat and exclaimed, It's you! Lu Sheng coldly asked, Miao Ren-san, have you always been so rude? This is already the second time. After that, Lu Sheng approached and put his arm around Miao Ren-san's shoulders, saying, I'm here to raid your tower, just letting you know. Any objections? At that moment, Miao Ren-san could only grin and shake his head vigorously. Lu Sheng then tossed Miao Ren-san into the air and said, No objections. That's good. At this time, Miao Ren-san sat trembling with his head in his hands, looking frightened. In this image, I felt a bit sorry for him. The people around felt confused. That's not right. Miao Ren-san isn't weak. After all, he ranked first in the former student board and 6th in the Marshal St. board. Who on earth is it that scares Miao Ren-san like this? Miao Ren-san, still panicking, trembled as he stammered, He is Lu Sheng. The others gasped in shock and said, Huh? What did you say? He is Lu Sheng. Hurry up, call someone. Lu Sheng from Marshal St. number 7 is here to raid the tower. Call those in the top 10, hurry. Another person shouted, What the hell are you talking about? Miao Ren-san was stammering now. He was no different from a quail, not daring to make a sound. At that moment, a voice rang out. Miao Ren-san has been beaten to a pulp. But that doesn't mean we will be as well. I want to see how the new student has shattered Miao Ren-san. At this moment, a couple appeared. The strong male wielded a huge sword, looking quite impressive, while the female, with short purple hair, wore a purple outfit and held a whip, her lips dark like a venomous snake. She licked her whip, showing excitement as she continued, How strong can he really be? The onlookers gasped in astonishment. That's a member of the former student board, Yang Jingshan, ranked 2nd, and Feng Maitong, ranked 3rd. She is absolutely right. Miao Ren-san is Miao Ren-san. He does not represent our 4th martial saint. Then the others began to regain their spirits, cheering, 4th martial artist, indomitable fighting spirit. Tower keeper, swiftly deal with Lu Sheng. Let's go. Such was their firm resolve, but when the Marshal Saint Board of the Martial Arts University was updated, everyone's expressions turned blank. What? This is unbelievable. The Martial Sync Power Ranking Board, Martial Arts Year 315, Top 50 nationwide. Gasps of shock echoed. Lu Sheng has reached top 1 on the 28th floor. Our 4th Martial Saint has been swept away. At that moment, at the Student Council of the 5th Martial Saint, the screen displayed an image of Lu Sheng. The people below sat in silence together, and a voice rang out, "Everyone." A serious-looking man said, "In this new batch of freshmen for Martial Saint No. 7, a monster has appeared. Surely everyone knows his name is Lu Sheng, revealing the star of the Eastern region this year. Ascending Dragon Martial Poinsettia on his first day at school, he fought against the former student board." Then a girl beside him impatiently interrupted, "Jing Yu, stop wasting words and just say what we should do." Jing Yu helplessly responded, "Haha, what can I do? Do you think there's anything I can do?" Lu Sheng has continuously broken the records of 2 towers for half a day, his reputation as a demon lord unstoppable. Suddenly, a panicked voice rang out, "Not good," which left everyone inside utterly shocked. Lu Sheng is here. Lu Sheng appeared looking handsome and charismatic, surrounded by an aura of power. He asked, "What's wrong? Aren't you welcoming me?" Upon hearing this, the others panicked and screamed, "No! Why is this happening?" Lu Sheng had just exited the top of a tower, scratching his head and thinking, "Breaking through the 5th Martial Saint Tower, I've broken 2 towers in the past 2 days, a fruitful harvest." Meanwhile, the students at that school are collapsing, tears streaming down their faces. Lu Sheng radiated a wave of power and thought further. Not only is there an opportunity to hone the master will 2 times in a row, but the mental force also expands broadly, perhaps has broken through the 6th level. Under intentional pressure, even the martial Dao's perfect form can smoothly transition into the 2nd form. In the 2nd form of the martial Dao's perfect state, strength condenses, identifying the explosion point, thoroughly understanding the weaknesses, meticulously controlling, and even having many ways to predict attacks, feeling omniscient, omnipotent, and flawless is becoming increasingly clear. After entering the 2nd form of the martial Dao's perfect state, one might even have the illusion of having become God. Although it is just an illusion, if one continues down this path, could it be that one day they will truly become a god of martial Dao? Lazily had been outside Martial Saint University No. 5 for a long time. Upon seeing Lu Sheng come out, he joyfully waved and called, Brother Sheng, over here." As Lu Sheng approached, he exhibited excitement and eagerly asked, "Congratulations on breaking another tower, Brother Sheng. How is it? Do you still need to go to another martial arts university?" Lu Sheng replied, "Yeah, it's still early. Let's call a car for Lu Sheng to go to Martial Saint University No. 6. Lindsay grew even more excited, immediately responding, "No problem." He then raised his hand and shouted to one side, "Everything is arranged. Look over there quickly." Lu Sheng was stunned when he saw the scene before him. It turned out that waiting to greet him were 2 long rows of incredibly eye-catching yellow cars. Lu Sheng was still in a daze when Lindsay pushed him into a vehicle. "Huh?" The other students had already gotten into the vehicle and were cheering each other on. "Hurry up, Brother Sheng is outside. Let's rush in." The green-haired friend who had just gotten on the vehicle hurriedly told the driver, "Driver, let's set off quickly." The driver looked surprised and asked, "Oh, student, are you all organizing some large-scale activity with 7 universities?" The student's face became bright and eager as he replied, "We're going to witness the birth of a dynasty." The driver was left completely stunned. "Huh?" Meanwhile, the students from other schools, upon seeing Lu Sheng appear, were startled and reminded each other, over here, we see him. It's him." At that moment, a powerful figure stepped down from the vehicle. It was Lu Sheng. Stepping down from the vehicle, his expression was serious, his eyes looking straight ahead. Lu Sheng had arrived, and when they saw Lu Sheng and a group of people appear, they cheered. "Oh my, in this battle, it's really the Demon King coming out. What should we do?" "This is Shen Kong, the first of the old students ranking." Shen Kong, step up." At this point, Lu Sheng was confronting someone much larger than him, whose name was Shen Kong. Shen Kong, with an unhappy expression, spoke up and asked, "Lu Sheng, right? To the Thunder Tower." Lu Sheng politely replied, "That's correct. Is there a problem?" Hearing this, Shen Kong's face darkened and he gritted his teeth in anger, hissing, "Is there a problem?" Unexpectedly, Shen Kong bowed his head, raised his hand, and flatteringly said, "I'm here to show you the way. This way, please. Our school is very large. Be careful not to get lost." The people around were alarmed and exclaimed, "Oh shit, so Shen Kong is the one guiding us." Half an hour later, as usual, gasps of surprise echoed. "It's broken. There's a new record." The scoreboard revealed a new record at Martial Saint University No. 6, Number 1. Lu Sheng, 29 floors. Lu Sheng successfully conquered the tower. At this moment, Shen Kong waved his hand joyfully and exclaimed, "Congratulations, congratulations." Lindsay was more delighted than anyone else, excited and laughing, his mouth wide open. On the surface, Shen Kong appeared to be joyfully congratulating them, but deep inside, tears flowed like a vast ocean. What can I do? He has already broken the record, and in any case, the one who loses face is not just us. It's a disaster. Then came a series of achievements by Lu Sheng. New record at Marshall State University number 6. Number 1, Lu Sheng, 29 floors. New record at Marshall State University number 6. Number 1, Lu Sheng, 27 floors. New record at Marshall State University number 6. Number 1, Lu Sheng, 28 floors. New record at Marshall State University number 6. Number 1, Lu Sheng, 26 floors. New record at Marshall State University number 6. Number 1, Lu Sheng, 28 floors. Sometime later, a familiar footstep stepped down in front of a gate, but it was now empty, with not a soul in sight. Lu Sheng entered again with Lindsay and the others. Suddenly, a voice rang out from above. "That's you, the Demon King of Marshall State number 7, Lu Sheng." A strong light from the high building struck the ground fiercely, creating shockwaves that affected those around. The smoke gradually dissipated. Lu Sheng still stood tall and serious, and the voice continued. "Few even know where this place is." Lu Sheng calmly replied, "I came here to climb the tower." How could I not know? A man in a cloak, hooded, drew his sword and said at length, "I am Bai Hang Xuan, ranked second in the Marshall State leaderboard, the founder of Marshall State University number 2, which was established by the earliest martial arts sage in Dragon Nation. Regardless of history or internal matters, it far surpassed anything that a generation of martial artists like you can compare to." Then he angrily pointed his sword down, saying loudly, "You may want to make a name for yourself, but you cannot trample on Marshall State University number 2 without first asking me if I agree." From the sword plunged into the ground by Bai Hang Xuan, a mass of ice and snow erupted, the power representing the will of a master. The ice then closed around Lu Sheng's feet, briefly catching him by surprise. Bai Hang Xuan drew his sword again and continued. "I've heard you are this year's ascending dragon martial poinsettia. Impressive." He confidently stood on the ice he had created. "Martial champion. Ha, I've done that before." Lindsay and his companions exclaimed in shock. "Is that the will of a grandmaster?" Bai Hang Xuan has condensed the will of a grandmaster. Although the will of a grandmaster is only a little, it is still a martial will belonging to him. In the span of 10 years, Bai Hang Xuan had reached the level of a grandmaster. Bai Hang Xuan pointed his sword at Lu Sheng and arrogantly said, "Do you now understand what the inner workings of the long-standing Marshall State University are?" As the snowflakes fell around them, Lu Sheng, who had been silent, finally spoke up. "The will of a grandmaster, huh?" He brushed the snow off his shoulders and smiled as he continued. "In this day and age, to have condensed the will of a grandmaster at such a young age is quite remarkable." Bai Hang Xuan's expression turned furious. What kind of attitude is that? Is he a senior praising a junior? He felt insulted. Bai Hang Xuan immediately swung his sword and angrily shouted, "What are you pretending to be? Just wait, I will freeze you solid and see if you can still pretend." Lu Sheng was now trapped in the ice, but he calmly asked, "Is this your ice martial will?" Suddenly, his eyes shone brightly, his entire body radiating a powerful heat, and he continued, "Compared to hers, it's too weak." The flames emanating from Lu Sheng forced those nearby to shield their faces from the heat. Even Bai Hang Xuan, who had been so arrogant moments before, gasped, "What?" At this moment, Lu Sheng's force had melted away all of his ice. Bai Hang Xuan had to grit his teeth to withstand that power, constantly questioning in his mind, "What is this? It's so hot, it's blinding, truly like the sun." Looking down at the melting ice, he was even more horrified. His ice domain had been completely dissolved. After resolving the situation, Lu Sheng approached and casually mocked, "What a coincidence, if you exist in the same world as me, that you can only be a runner-up." Suddenly on the rooftop, a few people silently witnessed the scene. They were clad in dark cloaks that concealed their figures. One person with glowing eyes spoke up. Comparatively, within the 5 years of entering a sect, he exhibits the prowess of a martial saint. At this moment, a voice rang out from the student council. "What's going on?" "What? My strength is actually just about equal to Bai Hang Xuan's. He ranks first, and I rank second. Lu Sheng hasn't even used half of his moves, and he has already defeated Bai Hang Xuan. If I went there, it would be like handing over my life." The girl, hearing this, became angry and cracked her knuckles. "Damn it. Initially, I intended to follow in the footsteps of that martial saint Tanjong Yu and smoothly level up to a master. But suddenly, that demon king Lu Sheng popped up, starting off at a dominating level. In just a few months, I will be graduating. Can't you be a little late? Bawley Yuping, looking 10 years older, gazed out the window in resignation. Forget it. Right now, Lu Sheng was up on the tower and some news articles were falling down. Everyone shouted to each other, "Look, breaking news? Oh shit, he's amazing. He might just be the next Martial Saint powerhouse of our Dragon Nation." In everyone's hands was a newspaper. Lu Sheng, the strongest newcomer, the last of the masters, has broken through 7 towers in a day and climbed to the top of the list. Suddenly, there was a terrifying scene full of zombies growling. At night, a faint light flickered from a window. Is A Yi in his own space right now? Is A Yi sending out information for Lu Sheng to see? After a moment, he spoke up. "A Yi, open the files about my life." In his heart, he thought, I wonder if doing this will lead me to become a saint. Reputation in society doesn't really have much effect. Every day I just eat, sleep, train, and show off. Then he scratched his head and self-denied. It's not boasting. It's just the situation forcing me. A moment later, he arrogantly looked up at the sky like a demon king. But they can't understand the satisfaction of crushing a powerful opponent easily amidst their extreme jealousy and joy. Martial Artist Level 9. Finally, I still became a martial saint. On the information board appeared details about an old man named Lu Sheng, male, lifespan from June 297 martial arts to July 383 martial arts, Martial Artist Level 9. After reading it, Lu Sheng happily exclaimed, "Although I am still quite far from the level 10 target, let me review my life experiences." Lu Sheng, a martial arts genius, broke the record for the 7 Towers Martial Saint Trials in the ancient capital of Dragon Nation, becoming the first master and in the same year achieving first place in a martial arts tournament, surpassing students nationwide, and killed a master of invaluable realm of the martial arts theory that resonated throughout the capital. Then Lu Sheng was astonished and wondered, I actually killed someone at the scene and even killed a master of the martial arts school. They had a martial saint backing them. Why didn't I take the risk of offending the martial saint and killing a master? Lu Sheng started to sweat, then began operating the screen. Forget it. Thinking too much is pointless. I'll think about that later. What else is next? At 19, he became a disciple of Tan Zhongyu in Martial Saint, becoming the 3rd disciple of Tan Zhongyu. At 32, he became a Grand Master. At that time, a bearded Lu Sheng with an adult stature, wearing several outfits and a tattered style, stood among the cheering fans. At the age of 70, he became a Martial Saint, founding the Martial Saint Dogo, and was revered as a complete Martial Saint. An old man with gray hair stood on the peak of a mountain, looking down at the city that appeared below. In the year 457 of the martial arts era, he passed away due to old age and weakness, living to 161 years with a character history rating of 6 stars and a power level granting access to level 6 fire seed resources. Lu Sheng was once again excited, exclaiming, "Complete Martial Saint, founding the Martial Saint Dodo. That's quite an achievement." His lifespan was shorter compared to the achievement of becoming a Grand Master, perhaps due to the depletion of his spirit. Achieving martial arts mastery truly was a challenge as difficult as ascending to the heavens. He decided to continue striving to see what else remained. Suddenly, Lu Sheng hesitated as the screen displayed the words marital status. Images of 3 girls, Yan Yan, Dong King Su, and Han Lin, flashed in his mind. Lu Sheng was very curious and was about to click marriage, He then waved his hand dismissively. Forget it. Don't look anymore. These things can easily disturb one's martial mind. At the same time, the screen showed insufficient authority. Lu Sheng contemplated, insufficient authority, right? Then I'll look into information related to the origin of strange creatures. Instantly, a flood of information poured down, causing Lu Sheng to exclaim. Amidst the countless documents, Lu Sheng found it hard to believe and asked, "Did I kill that many? It seems a few words can't clarify everything. I need to review carefully." Quickly check the investigation documents on stellar development, the natural breathing technique, and the glass visualization technique of the Grand Master. After reading an information board, I finally understood. So that's how it is. The period of cultivating the immortal golden body. Even now, I haven't completed the 2nd stage, but if I could have an unlimited supply of exotic marrow like last time in the Eastern Military District. The image of Du Fa Yi holding the tube of solution while crying and saying, "Don't come here," and leave him speechless. Never mind, let's look at something else. At that moment, another screen displayed the phrase natural breathing method, with truly esoteric content pursuing the fusion between heaven and mankind. Humans connecting with a cosmic space. Lu Sheng had a difficult expression. The abstract concept was hard to grasp. Then, Lu Sheng looked down at his hand and continued. The benefit that the natural breathing method brings me right now is rapid recovery, leveling up, and improved cultivation efficiency. I can only set aside time for research later. Next was the visualization method. Looking at the text on another screen, Lu Sheng was solemn. This is a master-level skill that allows for the use of will projection, utilizing mental force to simulate the martial will of others, the thoughts of geniuses, or perhaps only a madman could come up with such a technique. Lu Sheng began to speculate. Could it be that my position in this dreamscape space is also created by will projection, and thus I must slay those zombies in the dreamscape to fully inherit their will? There was a feeling of nearing some truth, but a thick fog still surrounded it, making it impossible to disperse or see through. Forget it, maybe I'm just overthinking it. It's time to go back. AG saved the data and then exited. After saying that, he turned away and disappeared in the space, leaving only a streak of light in the air. At that moment, another piece of information fell down. Before AE appeared the information with the name Lu Sheng, male, lifespan, June 297 martial arts, July 383 martial arts. AE's eyes shone brightly. In another place, an image of a woman appeared, seeking an audience, but immediately the projection shattered. Lu Sheng exclaimed in panic. Ah! With a good pain, Lu Sheng helplessly said, "No, I still can't use mental force to create a projection. Is there no feedback from mental force? Or perhaps the glass visualization method to construct projections with consciousness is not that simple. Indeed, it won't be easy." Then Lu Sheng sat down, grasped, and contemplated. Compared to the Martial Saint Tower, this place resembled a world more, a complete world. Aside from the needs for food and excretion, everything was close to the most perfect real world. If both were compared to games, the Martial Saint Tower was too basic, requiring player participation in programming. My Martial Saint Tower, however, was vast and like a masterpiece, making it hard to distinguish between real and fake. An image of a zombie, with its mouth open screaming, appeared extremely repulsive. Done. Lu Sheng picked up the lance and said, "Forget it. This is not something that can be accomplished overnight." Having finished, he leaped forward. The goal for tonight was to harvest. Lu Sheng sped off at his fastest pace. After many training sessions at the Martial Saint Tower, the progress of the water crystal observation technique had exceeded expectations. He could feel that his body contained the wills of 3 master-level experts. Unless he encountered more turbulence, with his strength and speed of advancement, even the wills of master-level martial arts might not compare. It would have to be the will of a grand master, perhaps. Lu Sheng's gaze was filled with determination. After all, the current target was the Grand Master with effects that were anything but ordinary. Lu Sheng had to improve his strength a bit more. A moment later, his foot landed on the ground, found you. The third will I was aiming for was in front of him, a strong man training by holding up a small mountain. He smiled wickedly at Lu Sheng. His eyes lit up, and from his sparse teeth, he exhaled a rather foul smoke. At this moment, Lu Sheng immediately used the complete path technique, the second move, Breath of Fire. Then he quickly swung the spear containing the flame in the shape of a fierce dragon to attack forward. Without hesitation, he shouted. A dazzling strike shot forward that was difficult to see. But upon closer inspection, it was seen that a hand had gently reached out to support the powerful spear's tip. The giant man had also released his strength to counter Lu Sheng's power. The zombie's face appeared incredibly repulsive. He raised his hand once again, delivering a greater blow to the small mountain on his back. The zombie's expression showed signs of panic. Half of the zombie's body had vanished, leaving only a deep pit spiraling into the small mountain behind. Seeing half of the zombie's body falling to the ground, releasing a dark aura, Lu Sheng exclaimed, "Ha! The stacking of 2 kinds of buffs truly produces impressive effects." At this point, the zombie had exhausted his strength and collapsed to the ground. Lu Sheng continued, "With extremely strong defensive capabilities, if in a 100% state, even Tanjong Yu at the master level would probably not be able to break through his defenses." Then he closed his eyes to concentrate. "Eternal light, let me inherit your martial arts master's will." Dark auras began to rise beside him. The zombie's memories surfaced, showing a young man kneeling before an elder who was reprimanding him. "Shi-I, your personality is too poor, always a step behind others. You are not cut out for martial arts cultivation." The young man named Shi-I, with a very determined expression, replied, "Master, then I will do a little more than others a little earlier, okay?" The master, after hearing this, seemed somewhat stunned. "You?" Then he sighed. A moment later, Shi-I stood in front of a general. The general said, "I'm sorry, your personality and abilities fall far short of the requirements of our protection team." "Perhaps," Shi-I responded. "I understand now, so let me try somewhere else." After a while, a hand slammed down on the table and a voice exclaimed in panic, "What? Are you crazy?" A woman who appeared to be Shi-Ai's mother expressed her deep concern. You joined the hunter team. Do you know that the hunter team has to leave the base? Don't you want to live anymore? Regardless of his mother continuously hitting her chest, Shi-Ai still cheerfully reassured, Mom, don't worry, I will definitely survive. The scene shifted to sounds of gleeful laughter. Ha ha ha, you idiot. You're nothing special, yet you want to save others. You almost lost your life just to snatch a few scraps. At this moment, Shi-Ai was struggling to kneel on the ground, holding a button device in his hand. The mocking voices continued, truly unbelievable. Ha ha, maybe next time the one who dies in the mouth of the strange creature will be that guy. His hand trembled as he held onto the device. And next scene is the panic of the others. What did you say? That fool Shi-Ai was promoted to level 6. Is that true or false? Don't joke with me. Every day we risk our lives out there. After coming back, he trains relentlessly like a madman. How could he not get promoted? Come to think of it, the hunting team has had so many deaths replacing members time and again. How is that fool Shi-Ai still alive? Meanwhile, Shi-Ai is still persistently training with 2 weights larger than himself. The chatter of the idol group echoes. Who knows, maybe he's just pretending to be foolish, but in reality, he's quite clever. Shi-Ai continues to motivate himself. I want to be a little stronger, so that I can bring back a greater chance of survival for even more people. Scene shifts to the hospital corridor, where nurses and doctors are moving about. Shi-Ai, now wearing the appearance of a worried man, hurriedly asks, Doctor, how is it? The doctor happily pulls back the curtain and says, Congratulations, it's a baby girl. A healthy mother and her peacefully sleeping baby girl appear. Shi-Ai, filled with joy and tears, is speechless. Then he raised a finger to touch his daughter's tiny hand, telling himself, I want to be even stronger, strong enough to protect you both forever. A large Shi-Ai was sitting gazing at his wife and children in the beautiful sunset. The day foolish Shi-Ai became a master was when he was 72 years old. In the martial arts year 1124, the number 1359 base was attacked by strange creatures. Those vicious strange creatures with mouths full of shark teeth appeared. Master Shi-Ai stood guard at the main gate number 27. At that moment, Shi-Ai pushed the rock to fend off the strange creatures. He was surrounded by countless ferocious strange creatures, but there was no trace of fear on Shi-Ai's face. He would not retreat even in death. Back in reality, Lu Sheng opened his eyes and exclaimed, Is this the foolish Shi-Ai? Compared to Tan Zhongyu, perhaps Shi-Ai is truly the one with wisdom who achieved success late, having to bear the title of a fool since childhood, yet after 60 years at the peak of martial artists, he could enter the master realm just before death. Before he died, his power had reached the threshold of a grand master. He looked down at the stone in his hand and continued speaking. If his mastery could allow Shi-Ai to have the potential to become a 9th level martial saint, then in every aspect, it has all been about protection. This is also my path. Since achieving the dreamscape space, what I must do is to protect my family, protect the future of humanity, protect all that is precious. As he spoke, Lu Sheng smiled with satisfaction. Later he reflected, Shi-Ai is skilled in arching techniques and fist techniques, both at the senior control realm. For the past 10 years, he has been exploring and studying carefully, like wine that becomes more valuable the longer it is aged. Light radiated from the sphere and Lu Sheng was startled to turn around. Finally, at this moment, Lu Sheng found himself in a different space with a blue sky full of twinkling lights. Lu Sheng threw a punch. Magnified on Lu Sheng's fingertip was the image of the bacteria being punched away. After that, Lu Sheng joyfully looked at the sphere in front of him. This martial art is really good. Even a tiny creature can be dealt with like this. What is the essence of martial arts in Shi-Ai? As he was curious, Lu Sheng was again startled to exclaim, the will of martial arts is too strong. The sphere of the air displayed the image of Shi-Ai, effortlessly lifting a gigantic mountain with one hand. In his other hand, a golden sphere emitted a strong light. Lu Sheng pondered, the technique is still connected to my thoughts. This technique is called Ming's Sacred Melody. Ming's appearance is not bright, it cannot be destroyed or shaken by great compassion. Nothing can change it. There is also great wisdom that the world finds hard to understand when Ming's is angry. The heavens and earth change color, demons disturb, and sentient beings retreat in fear. At this moment, a furious Buddha figure appeared along with a glowing gemstone in the air. The house's earthly branch, under the soles of the feet, seemed to emanate an endless source of strength, immobile like Ming's. Lu Sheng quickly clasped his hands together, radiating mental force, his movements resembling Ming's. Lu Sheng's mental force took the form of a large figure, raising its hand in accordance with him. As his arm moved, the earth and stones shattered and scattered. Such powerful potential was something that even Tanjong Yu at the master level could not exhibit. At that moment, the sphere shattered, revealing a small stone inside. This inconspicuous little stone is the master's will of Shi, isn't it? Indeed, it was extremely simple, yet as solid as a towering mountain. After thinking, Lu Sheng grasped the stone tightly in his palm. Stable as a diamond, when Shi became a master, it reached its peak. Initially, he thought it could contain two different types, but unexpectedly found that it could hold only one. Although he felt he could instantly be promoted to the master level, he had a premonition. If I choose stellar development for this, the balance in my body will be immediately disrupted. The potential that could arise was definitely outside the realm of the common Star Master. This was very likely to happen. Unless it was a Grand Star Master, the will would already have been absorbed. Now, it could drive people away. 3 figures appeared. Lu Sheng continued, but for me, this is very important. It cannot be like this if it cannot be completely integrated. Lu Sheng looked up at the sky, wondering, what should I do now? Before being promoted to a master, I must surely find a solution or discover the path that truly belongs to me. After a long night, morning arrived quickly, and the tall buildings emerged in the early sunlight. Lu Sheng was using breath control amidst the crowd, checking but finding no results, so he decided to go out for a stroll. Surely there's nothing wrong, just a walk to clear my mind. Suddenly, a chessboard appeared before him, causing Lu Sheng to stop. He silently looked down at the 2 men playing chess against each other. An old man wearing a cap spoke up, "Mr. Liu, hurry up, I want to go home for lunch." The bald old man called Mr. Liu was still deep in thought, pondering the calculations. Suddenly, a chess pieces seemed to dance, making Lu Sheng think. They are like me, absorbing different wills of the masters, difficult to integrate their forms. Lu Sheng seriously contemplated. It could be understood from chess. One piece was stacked on top of another, overlapping. The old man in the cap joyfully exclaimed, "Check." Then he chuckled, while Lu Sheng's eyes widened in astonishment. He sat down again to observe the 2 pieces stacked on each other, then let out a breath. How troublesome. Not a single clue. Then Lu Sheng's stomach growled, and he patted his belly, drooling as he said, "In the end, it's just those few brothers." A moment later, Lu Sheng appeared in a noodle shop, raising a finger to tell the owner, "1 bowl of mixed noodles with sauce." The owner smiled brightly in response, "All right, it will be done shortly." While sweating profusely from the heat, in front of Lu Sheng was the scene of a mother teaching her 2 young children. "Sit a bit further away, or you might hurt your eyes now." Lu Sheng joyfully recalled his loved ones. He thought that after going through the 7 Marshall Saint Towers, his time at the Marshall Saint University was nearing its end. Time flies, maybe I should take a trip home. Unexpectedly, at that moment, the owner brought out a bowl of noodles with all the toppings, enticingly urging, "Come on, kid." So that's how it is. Although everyone's martial arts have their own strengths, Lu Sheng was very pleased looking down at the bowl of noodles, knowing that as a complete master, he would learn from others' strengths, synthesize everything, and even make them perfect without any errors or shortcomings. He didn't expect to still gain a little something. Slumping the noodles enthusiastically, the martial saint felt excited inside. "Ha ha, I get it now." Although he still hadn't figured out how to merge so many master wills, at least he had a direction. However, Lu Sheng shouted loudly, "Owner, add 5 more bowls of noodles." Although still hot, the owner cheerfully responded to the inquiry. "All right, kid, you're a martial artist, right? You have quite the appetite. Don't underestimate my small place. I get quite a few regulars here. 3 or 4 grandmasters often come to eat, and they usually finish 10 to 20 bowls each time." Lu Sheng happily replied, "It really is delicious. If I have time in the future, I will come regularly." The owner brought out a tray with 5 large, aromatic bowls of noodles and said, "Ha ha, that's fine. Make sure to bring your girlfriend next time. Here's an extra poached egg for you." In the middle bowl, there was a beautifully placed poached egg. Lu Sheng couldn't help but exclaim, "This egg is truly perfect. Even though there are still some issues to address, who knows, maybe after a few more bowls I might find a solution." Aha! Special combat superhero transformation rage form. Suddenly a sound emerged that caught Lu Sheng's attention while he was enjoying his meal. Appearing was a superhero with a sun-shaped face emitting fire. The boy clenched his fist and said fiercely, "Bala bala, the beast is finished. The rage form special combat superhero is the strongest." The girl immediately retorted, "Who said that?" "The freezing form special combat superhero is the strongest." Rage form, freezing form, images of strange creatures being caught by the superhero appeared. Lu Sheng was suddenly struck by a thought, mentally repeating, "Anger, freezing form." The solar superhero appeared with a distorted smile. A moment later at the noodle shop, a young man wearing a hat raised 4 fingers and said to the owner, "Boss, 4 bowls of mixed noodles, please." After that, he turned to his friend and smiled, saying, "This noodle shop may look shabby, but the taste is really not bad. I've come here many times. The short-haired girl next to him was texting on her phone and replied, The young man continued, since I advanced to martial artist level 2, I've been burning a lot of energy and eating more. The girl suddenly turned her head and noticed something, astonished, oh. Then she pointed in a direction and told her friend, look, that person is eating even more than you. Their martial arts strength might not be weak either. The person they were talking about was Lu Sheng, who was devouring his food like a dragon and a wolf, one hand holding a chicken leg and the other using chopsticks to slurp noodles. As he finished his meal, he pondered how he should proceed if he wanted to become a perfect master. Suddenly, a voice from the TV caught his attention. Catch this, it's my killer move. Lu Sheng immediately looked up, surprised. What? In front of Lu Sheng, there were several empty bowls that he had already cleaned out. On the TV screen, there was an image of a superhero launching an attack while shouting, Deadly Flame. Suddenly, a bowl of noodles fell onto the table. Lu Sheng looked up in shock and unexpectedly exclaimed, That's right, the circle, the most perfect shape in terms of matter, is the form of the ultimate martial master. Then Lu Sheng's gaze became sharp. What about color? What color can represent my martial arts? The contrast of ice and fire is expressed in blue and red. Moreover, when absorbing Shi-I, what methods can one use to control him? Lu Sheng focused his thoughts, and finally, he suddenly opened his eyes. Gray. Lu Sheng felt as if he was merging into a mysterious space. Indeed, gray represents mystery and infinity, along with countless possibilities. The ultimate martial arts, commanding the path of the pig, vast and encompassing all images. Looking down at his two hands, he said again, But commanding the path of the pig does not mean that I have to overpower others. I am a level 6 martial artist. Creating a martial arts style even stronger than the strength of a level 11 strongman is far from feasible. Then he kept asking himself, how can he control those three things? The images of three projections of three people appeared before him. Lu Sheng suddenly opened his eyes, joyfully exclaiming, startling the two kids who had been watching. I figured it out. The boy turned and whispered, This kid not only likes watching children's cartoons, but also tends to scream a lot. The girl replied, That's true. The boy scoffed and then glanced around. The girl, still carefree, said, I think he's both silly and funny. But the boy had noticed the newspaper pasted on the wall. The newspaper had an image of Lu Sheng. Lu Sheng, the newest, strongest. Seeing the distorted expression on her friend's face, the girl asked in confusion, What's wrong with you? The boy kept staring at the newspaper, stammering and unable to articulate, this. He is. Then a distant voice echoed Lu Sheng. After a while, Lu Sheng returned to his room, resting his hands on the windowsill. He thought, mobilized mental force, staunch spirit, vitality, channel everything into it. Lu Sheng closed his eyes, stretched out his arms, and released an aura. Then he opened his eyes, feeling a warm breath sweeping over his body, icy energy flowing through his flesh and bones, and a gentle strength shaping the deep parts of his being. A large amount of impurities in his body were cleansed, reaching the second stage of the immortal golden body. The mental force and vitality were becoming more and more invigorated, excited even more. Lu Sheng seemed to be drowning in an endless stream of cold tears. I felt an even deeper connection to the ethereal space I was immersed in, with energy drifting throughout the universe. Suddenly, Lu Sheng fell into a pool of water. Water splashed everywhere, soaking him completely. He cried out in pain. Ha! This is clearly a space of consciousness. Why do I feel like I'm drowning? Then Lu Sheng unexpectedly opened his eyes. This is. At that moment, a man was being attacked wildly by a woman. One side of his face revealed a bony structure. The old man was thrusting a powerful flame sword forward. The short-haired man suddenly pierced through the old man's body with a stabbing motion. Lu Sheng observed the scene in his will and spoke. In his mind, there were now 3 different wills, and they were fighting each other. No one would believe it if I told them, right? Whatever. If this continues, I might end up dying from the madness caused by the conflict between these 3 wills. Lu Sheng's hand touched his chest, emanating dark energy. He then formed a determined smile. Since that's the case, let me try going over there. Walking up to stand between the 3 individuals, Lu Sheng shouted, Up, brothers, all eyes on me. The 3 people immediately turned their attention towards him. Lu Sheng raised his hand, toxic those dark streams of energy. I, Lu Sheng, use this mortal body to establish the perfected Master Dao, the 12th level of sword mastery. If Wang Ha cannot take that final step, then let me do it. What Wang Ha cannot accomplish, I will. As time went on, Lu Sheng grew more frenzied, shouting loudly, The powers you control, I can control as well. The powers you cannot control, I can also master. The dark energy was being rapidly absorbed. The 3 others remained as still as mountains, while Lu Sheng continued to reach out, proclaiming, This can become the foundation of the perfected martial Dao. Lu Sheng's gaze grew more determined. This is your infinite glory. Why are you not compliant? How dare you not be compliant? Yield it to me. Finally, the three began to exhale colored stones from their mouths. The three stones merged into the dark energy swirling in Lu Sheng's hand. Colored lights pierced downwards, creating a massive shockwave. A figure was obscured in the mist. I just need a few simple slogans to intimidate that incredibly strong martial will. A magic formation appeared before Lu Sheng, with 4 martial wills symmetrically arranged. Lu Sheng exclaimed joyfully, "It's a success! Ha ha! This is the martial will that truly belongs to me. Celestial will." Lu Sheng wore a satisfied smile. At this moment, in the office of the vice principal, Zhao Taiyan was sitting inside working. His hands were holding a document when suddenly a powerful surge of energy appeared, leaving Zhao Taiyan extremely startled. He quickly stood up and shouted, "Who?" The secretary, also panicked, rushed in through the door. "What is it?" Vice Professor Zhao Taiyan. At this point, Zhao Taiyan was sweating and looked up, then tried to calm himself and replied, "It's nothing. You can go outside." "All right, please call Lu Sheng to the office. I need to talk to him about something important." The secretary turned back to the door and replied, "Okay, Vice Professor Zhao." In her heart, she thought, ever since the last time Vice Professor Zhao broke through the window and flew out, he seems to be getting more and more sensitive. Meanwhile, Zhao Taiyan inside had a serious expression and thought, "Just now I sensed a level 7 spirit thought master in an instant. Was it an illusion?" At that moment, in a large building, a figure appeared at a window, radiating a mental force that surrounded the entire building. That was Lu Sheng. His mental force even enveloped the surrounding buildings. Inside, Lu Sheng thought with satisfaction, "Not bad. After consolidating my own master will, my mental force can reach this level. Before, I could only vaguely perceive external phenomena, but now I can clearly observe that my mental force can touch everything. Impressive. I must have surpassed level 6 and by a significant margin too. I wonder if I could reach level 7, but the most important thing is to test the effectiveness of the complete master path first." First, Lu Sheng clasped his hands together, and the phantom of him behind also appeared and followed suit. Lu Sheng used the heavens transformation, the breath of the earth, and his energy flowed down to the lower levels and into the ground. Starting up, Lu Sheng raised his hand to unleash a powerful force. Accordingly, a chunk of earth beneath the ground was lifted by Lu Sheng's strength. He then employed the standard prison spear technique and the superconductor breath to freeze that chunk of earth. The breath of ice allowed him to condense his own strength to compress it, like water freezing into ice. At this moment, Lu Sheng stood atop a building, yet you could still condense such difficult things. What a miraculous breathing technique. After a while, a golden orb appeared above Lu Sheng's head, finally completely transforming. Lu Sheng's whole body radiated a stronger flame than ever before, and his eyes also shone brightly. The perfect everlasting core is really 10 times stronger than the will of the master Shi Sheng Ning. Right now, and if I use stellar development to unleash 10 suns shining at the same time, can I defeat the Grand Master in that Martial Saint Tower? I don't know, but I really want to try. Lu Sheng looked down at the power in his fist, then brushed himself off, sighing to himself, "This power is indeed too domineering, too casual. In this state, I truly possess the aura of the main character. Surely, anyone with a bit of strength will not cease striving to pull me down." Suddenly, he noticed 2 boys shoving each other at the gate. Those 2 down there are pushing each other. "Hey, you hurry up and knock on the door. Don't want to push you away, but knock. This is the Demon King's castle." Lu Sheng spoke up and asked, "What's wrong? Are you looking for me for something?" The 2 boys immediately stood up straight and raised their hands in a salute. Reporting to the Demon King." "No, Lu Sheng, it's the vice principal who called for us. The vice principal said you need to go over there for an important matter." Lu Sheng replied, "Oh, really? I understand." The 2 young men quickly lowered their heads. "All right, then, we will take our leave." Then they hurriedly ran off in a panic, constantly fearful. "He's really scary. He exudes a terrifying aura. It's both hot, as if on fire, and cold like the Arctic. I mean, I'm a level 5 martial artist, and I didn't even dare to breathe heavily in front of Lu Sheng. Next time if someone wants to come, they can come. I won't come even if I get killed. Facing Vice Professor Zhao isn't as frightening as that," did Lu Sheng. Cut to a while later, Lu Sheng was in the vice principal's office. Zhao Taiyan was pouring tea while saying, "Student Lu Sheng, the reason I call you here is to discuss 2 things. The first matter is that you have swept through the 7 Martial Saint Towers, setting a historical record, and the reward has been fully prepared." The vice principal's face was filled with excitement as he exclaimed, "In total, it's 75,000 study points." Lu Sheng simply stared wide-eyed, and the space fell into silence. Lu Sheng, looking completely unfazed, asked, "Is that it?" Zhao Taiyan immediately shouted excitedly, 75,000 study points, enough for you to graduate 150 times. What more do you want? Lu Sheng, feeling a bit flustered, replied, "If there's nothing else, why would you graduate so many times? What about the supplements? What about exotic marrow? What about weapons?" Zhao Taiyan sat back down, trying to calm himself. "That's true. You've only been in school for a little over 2 months. Just check the school's website." Upon hearing this, Lu Sheng took out his phone to check. Zhao Taiyan continued, "In addition to the required points for graduation, the extra points can be exchanged for items." Lu Sheng said, "That sounds great." The vice principal continued, "Exotic blood level 4 only requires 5 study points, while the cold chai level 4 and 5 could cost dozens to 100 points. The master only rewards 10 points per week, and the exotic marrow level 6 is 1,000 study points for one part." Lu Sheng calmly asked, "That's fine, but isn't there exotic marrow level 7? Zhao Taiyan, just having calmed down and about to take a sip of tea, spat it all out in response to that comment. He stood up excitedly, continually questioning, "Exotic marrow level 7, do you really need 7th level items? Are you preparing to advance to master level? Has your master level completely solidified?" Lu Sheng calmly replied, just missing a little bit of vital energy." In Lu Sheng's mind, he thought that a vital energy master was as different from an ordinary martial artist as heaven is from earth. Because the vital energy master had been tempered by martial will, he had to wait until the immortal golden body completed the second stage. After that, he could use martial will to transform from vital energy to physical strength. Zhao Taiyan was stunned, continually thinking, just missing a bit of vital energy, mastering it is not a level that can simply be achieved with resources. From level 6 to level 7, this martial threshold has crushed countless people, and yet she is only 18 years old and her martial will has already fully formed. As a true young master, after a moment of excited fatigue, he sat down again and said, "Don't even talk about the Martial Saint University. Even in the military district, it would be difficult to obtain level 7 exotic marrow fluid. The procedures are incredibly complex, and you also need to pass a strength examination first." Lu Sheng asked in confusion, "Why is that?" Zhao Taiyan explained, "Because the blood cells of a level 7 strange creature contain many negative factors. With the current scientific ability of society, there is no place capable of completely eliminating them. If consumed, a person without strength would be eroded mentally by the remaining martial will of the level 7 strange creature. Therefore, even for a master, it is rare to use level 7 exotic marrow fluid, as it would waste mental energy and harm oneself." Lu Sheng looked at his phone again and said, "All right, level 6 it is. I guess I can just manage with that for now, but 74 points is too low." Hearing this, Zhao Taiyan could only feel exhausted and helpless, thinking every single word here is infuriating. "When I was a master, I only had 10 points of level 6 exotic marrow." Then he handed over a few bags of documents to Lu Sheng and said, "The second matter I want to discuss with you today is that the great Martial Saint Tanzhong Yu has learned about your situation and has agreed to accept you as his disciple. However, whether you can truly become his disciple still requires you to pass another round of assessment." Lu Sheng took out the documents from the bag, feeling confused, and asked, "What is this assessment?" Lu Sheng pulled out a sheet of paper which stated, "Become the top student in the country at the martial arts tournament." Lu Sheng was shocked again. Becoming the top student in the country at the martial arts tournament. Is this really considered an assessment? Zhao Taiyan closed his eyes and adjusted his glasses, replying, "I know what you're thinking. The 7th Martial Saint University doesn't have any rivals for you, but this martial arts tournament cannot be counted that way. This time, students from all over the country will participate. Besides the students from Martial Saint University, it also includes disciples from all martial arts schools under 30 years old, such as major religions and super elites." Lu Sheng squinted and exclaimed, "The successor of the Martial Saint." Zhao Taiyan gritted his teeth and affirmed, "That's right. The Great Religion Dojo and the Transcendent Martial Arts Hall have both taken in talents since childhood under the guidance of the 9th level Martial Saint. They are far more terrifying than the talents from educational backgrounds like ours. The age range up to 30 is not small, so if you want to be first, it is quite difficult, to say the least." Lu Sheng thought of his own image of slaughter, sweating nervously, and thought, so the reason for killing the Great Religion Master was because of this competition. Picking up another folder, Lu Sheng curiously said, "Huff, there's one more sheet." Zhao Taiyan's expression became more agreeable, and he smiled, replying, "That's correct. Although there is only one exam, you can choose between 2 options. The second choice just requires completing a mission." When Lu Sheng opened the content, his expression quickly turned grim. The content on the paper stated to complete an SSS-level mission with extremely high difficulty. Lu Sheng was astonished and exclaimed, SSS-level mission, SSS-level mission. As Lu Sheng read, he calmly remarked, sounds like a comic book story. Kill with 5th-level martial artist Lian Yi. There's a murder involved, with weapons and a ruthless personality. Mission requirement, no. Mission reward, none. As he examined the document, Lu Sheng thought that there's no reward whatsoever. The target is just a 5th-level martial artist. Defeating this person is not difficult. It's marked as SSS. Notable points include investigating the target's family background. Upon reading this, Lu Sheng exclaimed, oh, so that's how it is. Lian Yi is brutal and inhumane, with crimes piling up. His father, Jai Bai, is a level 7 master under the Great Religion Dogo. Many of Lian Yi's crimes involve his father's direct or indirect participation. At the same time, Lian Yi has a very good relationship with Zhao Ji, the founder of the Great Religion's martial army. His sister is referred to as a once-in-a-millennium beauty and is also the 5th wife of Martial Saint Zhao Ji. This background gives Lian Yi a unique status at the Great Religion Dogo, nearly on par with the Grand Masters of the Great Religion Dogo. After thinking this over, Lu Sheng turned to Zhao Taiyan and asked, the most difficult part isn't killing him, but the consequences after killing him. Killing the brother-in-law of a martial saint, right? Pointing to the documents, Lu Sheng continued to speculate. This person truly has committed every kind of evil. The crimes written on the back of the document are so numerous that even hiding them is not worth the trouble. Everyone must already know. Just with these deeds alone, they would deserve to die dozens of times. Zhao Taiyan replied, that's right, this is the first SSS-level mission since the establishment of Martial Saint University No. 7. The reason is that a regular worker from a chemical clothing factory came to us. 2 of his daughters were humiliated and harmed by Lian Yi and his father, and he didn't know who to turn to for help. So a month ago, her father came to our Martial Saint Tower. In the end, the great Martial Saint couldn't bear to ignore it and decided to classify the act of killing Lian Yi as a course mission, placing it on the mission list of Martial Saint University No. 7. But to prevent students from misunderstanding, they set it at the SS level and canceled the mission reward. Lu Sheng listened attentively. So why does the Martial Saint directly take action or let the teachers, who are 7th level masters, carry out the task as a part of the students' assignments? Isn't that the same as ignoring it? Zhao Taiyan's expression seemed serious, reminding, Lu Sheng, speak carefully, you don't really understand how terrifying a saint-level powerhouse is. If a conflict were to arise between 2 saint-level martial artists, how great of a shock would it cause in the country? Upon hearing this, Lu Sheng raised 2 fingers, cutting through the air like scissors, and said, this task has too many repercussions, it might even involve another martial saint. As long as we kill the target, we would definitely face retaliation. Not only from one 7th level master, but also from the entire influence of the Great Religion Dodo. Then, Lu Sheng directly stated it would even provoke a martial saint without gaining any benefit. Tell me, what is your true purpose, teacher? Zhao Taiyan replied with a gentle expression, be smart. Lu Sheng, behind Lian Yi's father and son, is the Great Religion Dodo and a Great Religion Martial Saint, but all I can rely on for you is the 7th level Martial Saint University and Martial Saint Mr. Tan. Zhao Taiyan continued tapping on the documents on the table, saying, as long as you become an official disciple of the Martial Saint, do you understand the significance of this? Lu Sheng also replied seriously, the future is vast and open, regardless of resources or mentors. Even if I want to take revenge, the opponent will have to show caution. After that, Lu Sheng stood up and said, I understand now. Please give me the address of the worker who knelt before the Martial Saint Tower that you mentioned. If there's nothing else, I will take my leave. Zhao Taiyan hesitated a bit but replied, okay, I will send you the email through the school's address later. After Lu Sheng stood up and walked out, Zhao Taiyan examined the 2 documents in his hand and thought, Lu Sheng, both of these choices are just a test from the Great Martial Saint for you. Take your time to consider carefully. There's no need to rush into a decision. Your innate ability is excellent, and the skills you are showing now have already surpassed mine and most martial artists in the world. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. As he thought, he supported his chin with his hand, lost in contemplation. Suddenly, someone who was covered up in the corner of the room spoke up. Mr. Zhao, you sure are talking a lot today. Zhao Taiyan seemed to have known about the person's presence and replied, I know, I just don't want to miss out on such a good seat. The person approached from behind him and said, being able to pass the real test of the Great Martial Saint is what makes a good seed. Otherwise, it's just a useless person. Even if they're a young master, having good innate ability is still useless. The scene shifts to Lu Sheng, who is now outside. He reflects, I just told myself a lot of things. It sounds like there are two choices, but Vice Principal Zhao has already stated it clearly. The image of Zhao Taiyan, pointing at document number 2, appears, serious as if to say, the second choice is the correct one. Choose the second one for the teacher. Lu Sheng thinks again, such a blatant way of speaking, thinking I wouldn't understand. The first choice is to defeat all masters under 30 across the country. Zhao Taiyan feels that with his current strength, this is impossible, but in reality, through the system, I can achieve it. But the second choice is very simple. Killing a level 5 martial artist is as easy as drinking water, after which I could also force myself to align with Tan Zhongyu's side, because if I kill Lian Yi, I would definitely offend the Great Religion Martial Saint. The best way to avoid retaliation from the Great Religion Martial Saint is to either seek protection from another martial saint, or become his hunting dog, or simply leave this place. Standing in front of a large building, Lu Sheng puts his hand on his hip and sighs. This is truly a perfect plan. I even begin to doubt whether Tan Zhongyu could see me as easily as Pi in a martial saint tower, crushing his willpower clone. At this moment, Lu Sheng was standing in front of the martial saint tower, yet Tan Zhongyu was charting a clear path for his own future. Although he didn't want to be any kind of hero, the Lion Yi father and son deserved to die. As he spoke, Lu Sheng walked down the long corridor. Even if he killed them, he would not join Tan Zhongyu's faction. If he couldn't even face the threat of a martial saint, how could he talk about surpassing Wang Ha? He not only wanted to kill the Lion Yi father and son, but also to defeat all the masters in the country. Lu Sheng's expression was one of determination. At that moment, he exuded a fiery aura, looking up as if imagining countless evil beings weighing down on him. He resolutely thought, I will solve these two difficult problems. The scene shifted to the outskirts of Nanping, where a female police officer was commanding her team. With swift movements, she secured the surrounding area. Focus up for me. Prepare to support the hall, and everyone can exit at any moment. This was Xiao Yiran, the deputy director of the Nanping City Police. Xiao Yiran took out her walkie-talkie and spoke into it. Sniper in position, can you investigate the specific situation inside? Hurry and report back to me. A male police officer approached and spoke up. Deputy Chief, why do we have to be so tense? The experts from the General Association in the capital were all around level 6 or higher, and there were even experts ranked in the top 300 on the Hunter list. Moreover, there was also President Xiao. Surely a level 7 strange creature can be handled, right? Xiao Yiran sighed and replied, yes, you are correct. Inside, there is only a level 6 strange creature. An important condition to be among the top 300 hunters is to single-handedly eliminate 10 level 6 monsters. Looking at the situation behind her, she continued, perhaps I'm overthinking it. If nothing unexpected happens, we should be able to resolve this strange creature encroachment smoothly before sunset. Suddenly, a yellow car drove up. Xiao Yiran was taken aback. The driver spoke up, we're here, brother. Lu Sheng opened the door to get out and replied, thank you. The driver was confused. This place is remote and desolate. Why is there still a police car here? Seeing the stranger approaching, Xiao Yiran warned, stop, don't come any closer. The area ahead is sealed off. You should return. Lu Sheng then reached into his jacket and replied, I'm here on a mission. This is the task confirmation location. Xiao Yiran was astonished as she picked up the piece of paper. A mission, huh? Marshall Saint University number 7, first-year student. Then she showed disdain and said, is the requirement for students at Marshall Saint University so harsh now? Are first years too bold to take on a mission like this? Lu Sheng folded his information sheet and replied nonchalantly, special case. Xiao Yiran looked down in shock at the information sheet that had disappeared from her hand at some point, then thought in confusion, I am a level 4 martial artist. How did he take it from me without me noticing? This person is not simple at all. Then she said, maybe we won't need you anymore. Someone else has already entered. The 4 level 6 experts were all at the pinnacle of level 6, and one of them was a top 300 expert on the Hunter rankings. Unless something unexpected happened, this case would be resolved soon. Lu Sheng calmly asked, really, what is the Hunter ranking? Xiao Yiran explained, it's a ranking within the Martial Sync Association that specializes in setting the rewards for hunters. The higher the mission level and the greater the difficulty in completing it, the higher the rank. Lu Sheng responded, I see, but that's fine. It saves me from being a hindrance. Seeing Lu Sheng's calm expression, Xiao Yiran was extremely surprised. The male police officer, seeing this, angrily shouted, hey kid, can't you understand? I already said we don't need you. Suddenly, a huge explosion occurred on the building. Xiao Yiran was extremely startled and anxious. Everyone must die. Xiao Yiran hurriedly said into the intercom, prepare, units pay attention. From the immense smoke, a few people jumped out, but one unfortunate person was caught by something wicked that reached out from the smoke. A scream rang out, "Ah, don't." The unfortunate one desperately reached out for help. "Save me, please save me." Xiao Yiran gritted her teeth, feeling both angry and horrified. Then she ordered to open fire. As one, the shells were launched to attack the building. Xiao Yiran looked at the man falling to the ground and anxiously asked, "Are you okay?" Then she turned to call the recovery team. But before she could finish her sentence, a hand grabbed her shirt. The man angrily questioned, "What kind of information are you spreading? The strange creature inside is not level 6 at all. It's a genuine level 7. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yiran gasped, "What? Level 7? This is not a problem that the armed forces of a city can handle. We must quickly contact the military." A hand reached out to stop her intercom. "No, not for now." Lu Sheng took the intercom and calmly said, "Just let me go in and see first. Remember to wait for me to finish before adjusting the mission level." The others took a moment to rest and drink some water. The others looked at Lu Sheng with astonished eyes. 5 minutes at most, Lu Sheng said, emanating a strong, killing aura. Then, Lu Sheng quickly disappeared into the air, leaving everyone there in shock. A moment later, Lu Sheng appeared on a balcony of the building. Its feet landed on the railing. Everyone quickly turned to look. They all gasped in astonishment. "What the hell? We've encountered a ghost. What kind of speed is this? Who on earth is that person?" Meanwhile, Lu Sheng remained calm as he prepared to enter, but a strange odor wafted through that made him uncomfortable, prompting him to cover his nose with his hand. "It stinks so much, it smells like livestock and sheep that have been dead in the sun for a few days." Lu Sheng's expression was filled with disgust as he imagined, "When I participated in the revealing the star selection, I got to smell something like this too. But the scent wasn't as overwhelming as this. It seems that during the selection, those strange creatures must have been cleaned up beforehand." After that, Lu Sheng continuously jumped up the stairs. Arriving in front of a room, he did not hesitate and pulled the door open. An eye appeared from inside, revealing the image of Lu Sheng. Inside was an unfortunate person caught in the grasp of a hideous monster with grotesque teeth. The room was filled with countless corpses stacked on top of each other like a small mountain. Ropes hung down from the ceiling like a spider's web. On the floor was a multitude of disgusting liquids, with the focal point being the bizarre creature with many eyes gnawing on the person. Lu Sheng's gaze turned icy. "So it's you!" Humiliation and demonic anger. The monster then threw the unfortunate person away. Seeing that person fall to the ground, Lu Sheng felt sorrow and said, "I'm sorry, it's my fault for being late."